My name is Omar. Thank you for joining us for the club website administration webinar. I'm joined by Zach Woods, my co-host here, and we'll be taking you through the website administration beginner webinar. I just want to mention that while we're going through the webinar, you can submit your questions to us in the Zoom Q&A box. You should see it at the very bottom of your Zoom session with us. If your view of the share screen isn't quite exactly right for you, you can try to click the view button in the top right of your Zoom window, and you can play around with the different views for one that fits for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the topic list out here. So I'll be over the course of our website administrator webinar, we'll be going through designing and updating the club's homepage with our themes, layouts, as well as automatic widgets, which pull content from the member area, and pre-formatted and custom widgets, which you can just edit right there in the live designer and add content to. We'll also be updating the example website's navigation menu with folders and links to third-party websites, as well as an event link from the club account that we'll be working with. I'll also be creating a website story to appear in one of our automatic widgets, the homepage stories widget, and we'll publish that story to have it appear on the homepage. I'll also go over creating and linking a new custom page in the website and then link that to the navigation menu so that if you guys want to create more content, a brand new page, you can create those custom pages and then link them onto the website. And finally, I've prepared a partially completed event, which we're going to wrap up the registration settings and then link to in the website. Okay, so bear with me here. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my demonstration accounts. There we are. So you guys should see the Greentown Rotary Club account here. I'm going to go ahead and start by logging in just fresh. So I've logged in ahead of time, but I'm going to go ahead and log out with this logout link in the top right. And this is what you'll see when you pull up your club homepage, something similar to this. In the top right, we're going to click member login. And then here, I'm going to enter my user's information, their username and password. We're going to go ahead and click this blue login button. Once I'm successful, we should return to the home page, and in the top right to enter the club's member area, I'm going to click this member area link. I do want to mention while I'm on the home page and logged in with a user with the highest access level, that 30-site administrator access level, I have access to this blue pencil icon in the bottom right of the home page. This pencil will take you directly to the home page designer. I'm not going to click it through this. I'll take us through the steps to get to the homepage designer in the member area, but there is a shortcut. Once you're logged in, you can click this pencil icon and you'll end up in the same place, and I'll make note of that when we get there. So I've logged in. Let's go ahead and click the member area link in the top right of the website, and that'll pull up our member area. Perfect. So as a site administrator, you should see your site administrator dashboard. It'll be automatically selected here. We have the highest access level, so we have access to the other dashboards for access levels that are lower than the site administrator access level. I won't go into too much detail about the dashboards, but definitely check them out. With the site administrator access level, you'll have access to all of the modules and tools, so you don't necessarily need to check those out, but if you're assigning access levels, you can see what the access level grants the member through the dashboard. If we were to go through the dashboard here, we should see a website grouping. There we are, website designer, and we can get to the homepage designer directly through this link. That's the same as that pencil icon from the homepage. I'm a little old fashioned and I like the top two menus. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and in the top blue bar, I'm going to click new website beta and then homepage designer. But you guys can definitely use the dashboard links as well if you like them all in one place. So I've pulled up the live homepage designer. On the right side of the page, you'll see a few tabs as well as this publish and view live page button. By default, the content tab will be selected with the preformatted widgets grouping open. Just to quickly talk about preformatted widgets, they are text as well as text and image widgets that you can add to the page by dragging and dropping them and then clicking in the text box or image icon to edit the content. And I will go through using one of the preformatted widgets. But before I get started on all of the different types of widgets we have, I'm going to click this Layouts tab in the top right. Okay, so we do have a few different layouts you can use for your club website. You'll see the current layout selected with this light blue outline around the layout. So I've got my cursor just around there. You'll see that light blue outline. So we currently have the full width top band above right sidebar layout selected. We can choose various different layouts, and as soon as you click one, and I really like this full width top band above 3 columns or full width all of the bands, but let's go ahead and just use this full width top band above 3 columns. I'm just going to scroll to the current layout, which is that left main and right sidebar. If we click this 3 column layout, these widgets will automatically move around for us. So I've selected the new layout, and if I scroll down, we can see that the club information widget, which was originally spanning across these 2 columns, is now only in the middle column, and the club events and mini calendar widgets are still in the right column. So definitely check out the layouts. I know the 3 column layout that I have currently selected, as well as the full width top band, are some of the frequently used ones, as well as the sidebars. If you guys are looking to have a primary main column that really is a little larger than the 3 column gives you, and then a sidebar, say for your club information or club events. So check out these layouts. There's many options. And if you guys have questions or suggestions for a new layout, you can definitely reach out to us. I guess I should quickly speak to that. So I'm going to step away from our homepage designer, and I'm going to pull up our knowledge base, clubrunnersupport.com. I have the tab pulled up right here, and it's already typed in. If you have any questions or want to look up what information and guides we have, check out clubrunnersupport.com. We have some pre-recorded videos and webinars. And if you have any questions or suggestions, you can click this blue Contact Us button in the top right. So let's go ahead and go back to the homepage designer. I'm just going to click my Design Homepage tab here, and we're back. So from here, I want to show you guys some of the themes. I'm going to click this Themes button in the top right of the homepage designer. Okay, so I've clicked it, and now we're on the theme selection. Currently, we're using the Cloud Next Gen banner theme. So this Cloud Next Gen banner theme comes with this website banner at the top, and it looks like we've also added a homepage carousel widget below, but that's not part of the theme. So just keep in mind, these are separate. The banners are above your navigation menu if you're using a theme with a banner. You can also use a theme without a banner. So this will be removed when we select it, and I'll go ahead and try that out. We're going to try this Azure and Gold one. I'm just going to go ahead and click it. And similarly to the layouts, the system will take care of applying those updates in the live designer. So let's go ahead and click Azure and Gold. And as soon as I've clicked it, we can see that the navigation menu colors are a little different. That banner section at the top has been removed. So we just have our carousel widget, and you can definitely try out in many of these colors or any of these colors. And while you're trying out the themes, pick one, and when you have selected one, we would need to publish the changes to the homepage. And I'll publish again later, but for now, I just want to show you that these changes to the theme and layout that we've done are not on the homepage yet. So I'm going to click View Live Page, and we're still on that old, that previous theme and layout. So it's that main left column and right sidebar, as well as the color selections. Those haven't appeared on the homepage. If we'd like to commit those changes, I'm going to go back to the homepage designer and click this orange Publish button in the top right. I'm just going to close out the old tab that isn't refreshed. And then we're going to click View Live Page again to check on our theme update and layout updates. I'm going to go ahead and click that again. And there we are. We can see that the navigation menu colors have stuck and the banner has been removed. And as we make more changes to the homepage designer, we can publish them with the orange Publish button in the top right. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the homepage designer. I do want to add a custom widget as well as an automated widget to the homepage. So to get to the widgets from the homepage designer, we're going to click this Content tab in the top right. Okay, and as soon as you click Content, this pre-formatted widgets grouping will be open, and these widgets don't pull from the club member area. They really just display any text or image content entered into the widgets. So let's just, for example, drag and drop this image with caption. Yeah, let's use this image with caption in the top band. So to do that, I've clicked and dragged on the image with caption widget with this plus icon. And as I drag my cursor around the page, you'll see a green drop here box to denote where the widget will drop to. So If I were to place the widget right here where the green drop here box is, it'll end up in the banner full width section of the home page. And the full width section spans across the whole width of the home page. If I were to scroll down just a little more, we can use the top section, which spans just the length of the columns for the home page. And similarly, you'll see our left column, our main column, which is that middle column, and the right column. So you'll see these layout sections as you drag the widget around the page. Oops, I think I accidentally let go, and it did drop right here below the middle section. I'm going to go ahead and move it to the top section like I wanted to. So to do that, actually, that's a great example here. I've got a widget on the page. I'd like to move it. I'm going to hover over the widget, and to move it around, I'm going to click these 6 dots icon in the top right. So I've clicked and dragged them, and I will need to use my scroll wheel to scroll up the page, and I'm just going to drop the widget into this drop here box in the top section of the layout. So I'm going to let go of my cursor, and there we go. The widget has moved from that middle column to the top column. It's not in the full banner, in the full width banner, I should say. It's just in that top column. So for these pre-formatted widgets, the actions will look really similar. You'll hover over the widget in the Live Designer section, and we can click a pencil icon to edit the content in the widget. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for this image space in the image with caption widget. I'm just going to hover over it and click this pencil icon. A new dialog will appear with your club's image library. I'm going to go ahead and select, let's do this sunset cityscape image. Keep in mind, your default folder will be this My Images folder, and you can organize your images by right-clicking that image folder and adding a new subfolder. I'm going to leave that alone. We're just going to select the Sunset Cityscape image from the library. And to do that, I'm going to double-click the image. There we are. So after selecting the image from the library, it's been entered into our pre-formatted widget. And just keep in mind, this isn't on the home page yet. We haven't published this update. So we're only working in the Live Designer for now. So in my image with caption widget, we also have this text line at the bottom. And to edit it, it's the same. I'm going to hover over it and click the pencil icon. And as soon as I do that, I can start editing the text for the widget. And I'm just going to type in Sunset Cityscape, and let's just give it a date, May 2002. But you can replace that text content with any other content. I do want to mention, while in the text box of a pre-formatted widget or custom widget, which I will get to, you should see these editor tools appear. In these editor tools, you can add additional images and links to the text box. So say I'd like to link this Sunset Cityscape to the website or author who had taken the image. I can highlight the sentence Sunset Cityscape May 2022, then click this link editor tool, and a link dialog will appear. And this link dialog is used in many areas, one of which is the website stories, and I'll get to the website stories as well. So from this link dialog, you can set the link type. If you're looking for a link to a third-party website, you should keep it set as URL. But if you've created the content in your club's Club Runner website, you can click the link type dropdown, and you'll see a few areas where you can create content for your club website. So if we were to create an event, we can click the link editor tool, and then from this link dialog, click the link type event, and any upcoming events will appear in this upcoming events dropdown just below. So I've selected event, and now I'm going to click upcoming events, and we can see my example event for this webinar, the Fish Fry and Club Barbecue, is selectable. So I can click this link for the event and then click the green OK button, and we've effectively linked the Sunset Cityscape May 2002 text to the events registration page. I'm going to click out of the widget so that we can see the linked text. There we are. And linked text on this theme is colored orange. So we see that the Sunset Cityscape, which was originally black, is now linked with that orange link color. You can always change those links again. So after you've got the link entered, you go back to the Live Designer, click the pencil icon for the widget, then highlight the text, and you would use the same steps, the link editor tool. And if it's a third-party website, you would use the URL type, the URL link type, and then you could paste the resulting URL here. So say, for example, I'm just going to pull up google.com. I can go ahead and just type in google.com there, but if you have a link to a third-party website, you can just paste it into that URL field and then click the green OK button. I'm going to save this Google link to that text, and we'll check on the homepage after I publish the update. So let's go ahead and save this link to the widget. I'm also going to remove an extra blank line that I've added below there. I'm just going to delete them by putting my cursor to the end and clicking the delete key on my keyboard. So we've set up our cityscape image on the homepage. That was from the preformatted widgets grouping. Another just tip I want to share about the preformatted widgets is if you guys have created any widgets in the past, those widgets would appear with a magnifying glass instead of the plus icon that we had used to drag on a new widget. So if I click the magnifying glass I'm going to try to find this sunset cityscape. So it's an image with caption widget. So I'm going to look for the image with caption widgets with that magnifying glass. And it looks like we have a few in our demonstration account, sort of to be expected. Your club should have a few, a handful, maybe not 10, but a handful, maybe 1 to 5. We can try to locate that widget by clicking the magnifying glass to check which one has the content. So just for example's sake, I'm going to do it for the latest one, image with caption 9. I'm going to click that magnifying glass. Okay, it looks like this one isn't the one where the widget content is saved to. I'm just going to double check. Sometimes this widget isn't updated with the new content we are. To get it updated, I'm just going to refresh the page and double check on that image with caption 9 widget. So I've refreshed the homepage designer. I'm going to go back to the content tab, preformatted widgets, and I'm going to scroll to the image with caption ones, and let's click that magnifying glass again. I do think it should have. It does have a different image, a broken image, and a different text. So our widget is here somewhere. Let's try image with caption 10. No, it is here somewhere. I'm just not able to locate it. It could be that it's been saved with a different name, but as you guys create those widgets, you should see them saved with the magnifying glass on the right side, and you can click that magnifying glass before dragging it onto the page to check out the content. It should be here. I'm not going to fuss around with it anymore. I want to get to our automated widgets. So I'm just scrolling to the top of the pre-formatted widget grouping. I'm going to click it to shrink that grouping, and we'll go over more of the commonly used widgets. So I'm going to start with this essentials section. So let's go ahead and click essentials. And right away, we see a few different widgets. We've got the club's meeting information, club executive directors list, and homepage stories widgets. These have already been added to the homepage, and I'm going to show you guys where those are. So from the left side of the page, the live designer, I'm going to scroll down the page, and we can see our club information widget is right here. And to show you that this is the same widget, I'm going to drag and drop the same meeting information widget right above it. So I've clicked and dragged meeting information, and then I've hovered my cursor over the widget. And if I'd like it to go above the widget, I can move my cursor slowly up, and that'll put the drop here box above, or I can move my cursor slowly down, and that'll put the widget below. I'm going to drop it above like we said, but there will be no difference once I get it there. There we are. So we've got the two club information widgets. To remove one, I'm going to hover over it and click the X icon in the top right of the widget. And that's removed it from the page. Another action you can take on the widgets is if you're hovering over them, you can click this gear icon in the top right. This gear icon appears for most widgets. At the very top of the widget's properties, you'll have some general settings such as the border for the widget. Usually these are left as default. The real gravy, I guess you could say, is closer to the middle and bottom with the header properties where you can retitle the widget. So currently the title of the widget is Come Join Us for a Meeting, which we can see right here in the properties dialog. We can hide the title for the widget by unchecking the show title or leaving it checked and changing the title. So I'm just going to replace it with club meeting information so we can see this update in the live designer. And again, these updates are not on the homepage until we click the orange publish button in the top right. So right now, we're just working in the designer. I'm going to save this update to the club information widget. There we are. So I've saved that title update and the club meeting information is updated. Another widget I know a lot of clubs like to use is the executives and directors widget. I'm just going to scroll to it on the page. It should be here. There we are. Further down the right column, we've got club executives and directors, and it lists all of the executives' names. Just a note, these names are linked to anonymous contact forms on the website. So if a visitor who isn't logged in clicks these links in the club executives and directors widget, they'll open up a contact form to send an email to, say, our club president, Mickey Dewey, or our club treasurer, John Ford. And that form will only display the executive's name, and then the visitor would type in their name, email address, email title, and email subject, the email information, and then they can submit the email to the executive. And that whole process, there's no way the user can view the email of the executive. They're just sending an email through the website, and they wouldn't be able to get more information about your executives. Okay, so that's the executives and directors widget. Above, we have our club stories and projects widget. There are two widgets that can contain separate lists of website stories. We've got our homepage stories widget and the homepage news widget. And I'm pretty sure this is the homepage stories widget. To double check, I'm going to hover over the widget and click the magnifying glass in the top right there. And I do believe this is the one, club stories and projects. It's titled the same, and it's in a different format than the club news widget. So let's go ahead and drag on this homepage news widget. I will drop it below the club stories and project widget. So to do that, again, I'm just going to click and drag the widget and then hover over where I'd like to place it. We've got some behavior here. I'm just going to try to hover over it again. It looks like it's being a little finicky, pardon me. So I'm just going to scroll up and maybe that'll help fix it. Yep. So I can drop it above again by hovering over the widget and moving my cursor up, or below by moving my cursor down while over the widget. Now I'm going to let go of my cursor. And there we are, our homepage news widget is dropped into place. I do see that it is quite long, as the bar on the right side of my page here has gone up a little bit. So if we scroll through, we can see that there are quite a few stories in this widget. I'd probably say too many. And for our homepage stories widget, the widget above, it's organized a little nicer with a different layout. The homepage news widget doesn't have those layout options, but we can limit how many stories appear in the widget. And to do that, I'm going to hover over the widget, and in the top right, I'm going to click the same gear icon to access the widget's properties. So here we have the properties for homepage news widget. If I scroll down past the general settings, we've got our header properties and title, as well as the content properties for the content added into the widget. I'm going to scroll past that to the settings section here. Okay, it looks like I don't have the same number of stories that we can set for this homepage news widget. I'll do that for the stories widget, but there are some other settings for this homepage news widget, like this show read more link. And this read more link, effectively when creating a website story, there's a brief section that'll appear in the widgets and a story content section that'll appear if a visitor clicks the title of the story. So for example, this what's next for Rotary story title. The read more link should appear, say, in the bottom right of the story. I'm just going to close this dialog. Here we are. If I scroll down, yep, there's the read more link for one story. So this growing a future in Cape Town story has content added to the story content text box. Just keep that in mind. I know it sounds just like words for now, but we will create and add a story to the homepage. So I'm going to remove this homepage news widget from the homepage. What I wanted to show you is how you can limit the number of stories in a widget, and that can only be done from the homepage stories widget. If I hover over our homepage stories widget on the homepage, I'm going to access that same properties dialog. And then if we scroll to the bottom, this widget will have more controls on how many stories appear. So I've scrolled all the way to the bottom, and in the settings grouping, we have our items to display number. And right now this widget is set to display 10 stories if up to 10 stories have been added to the widget. And that sort of segues nicely. I'm going to close out our properties. We're not going to make more changes to the widget's properties, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a new story to this club stories and projects widget, and then I'll move on to the navigation menu. I'm sort of switching the order here, but I think it's segued nicely. So we've got our homepage news stories. Let's go ahead and add another story. So some widgets will have that pencil icon where you can edit the content right there on the widget in the Live Designer. For any other widgets, you'll have this outbound arrow icon, which will take you to the area to manage that content. So for the club stories and projects widget, it'll take us to the homepage stories library. If I was to hover over the club meeting information widget, the outbound arrow icon would take you to the club information and settings page. So each of these outbound arrow icons will take you to a slightly different area in the member area to manage the content for the widget, where the widget is pulling its content from. So let's go ahead and do that for the club stories and project widget. I'm just going to click that outbound arrow icon and it'll pull the stories for homepage page. Automatically, it's selected the stories widget for our homepage. If I scroll down, we can see we have a total of 6 stories added to the widget. So it's only going to cycle through these 6 stories. And I mentioned earlier that read more button will only appear if a story has a story brief and story content. To show you guys, I'm going to click this Growing a Future in Cape Town story to edit it. So I'm going to click the name of the story. And we have our story title at the very top. The permalink is automatically generated for you based on the title. And the permalink is the website address for the story on the website. We can also date the story to organize it on your stories list page, but you can specifically order the stories in a widget, and I'll show you guys that as well. And then just below the date, you can opt to show you the social media share bar, which gives the viewer a social media icon they can click to share the story on their social media account. I will turn this on, but keep in mind these social media share bars don't appear in the widgets, only on the full page of the story when we click the story title from the homepage. And I'll show you guys that for this Growing a Future in Cape Town story. So I've turned on the social media bar. We've got some information entered into the story brief. And if I scroll down, we also have information entered in the story content. So the information in the story brief here at the top will appear in the widgets and on the website. The information in the story content will appear after the visitor clicks the read more button or the story title from the widget. So you can just keep the brief overview in the story brief, and any additional content you'd like your visitors to view after, you can include in the story content where they can click a read more link and then open up the full story to read the content. Finally, we have our blog settings here at the bottom. You can choose to enable comments for a story, and this would give members who can log into the club website a chance to post a comment to the story on the website. So if you have something you'd like to discuss on the website, you could start it as a story with a story brief and content and just enable this comment button, and then any member would be able to open the website story on the public website, log in, and then write their comment right there on that public website story. Okay, I'm not going to make changes to this story. I'm just going to throw together a quick story, but I did make one change, which was the social media bar option. So to turn that on, I'm just going to go to the bottom here and click this orange Save and Publish button in the bottom right. Okay, that'll bring us back to the list of stories added to the homepage stories widget. I'm going to create a new story with this orange create new story button here in the top right. And I'm just going to title this story fish fry barbecue history. I've got a fish fry barbecue event sort of created in the background. I just want to create, say, a history story page to go alongside it. So I'm just going to create this story title, fish fry barbecue history. If I click anywhere else on the page, the permalink is automatically created for me from the story title. And then we can also add a thumbnail image to the story. To do that, I'm just going to hover over where we see this change button and click the change option, then the edit pencil icon. And again, the club's image library loads. From here, we can double click an image to select it for the story. I'm going to double click this barbecue image. There it is, it's entered for us. Finally, we've got our story brief. I'm just going to leave this really brief, and probably just for our demonstration purposes, I'm just going to type in, this is the story brief, just to keep it simple, but you can enter any brief information you'd like to share about the story in this story brief box. It'll appear on the homepage stories widget. And then below, we can enter some story content. This story content box goes into the history of our fish fry event. And I'm just going to leave that as is. So we've got our story brief, a thumbnail. I haven't turned on the social media option for this story. And we've got our story content where if they click read more, they'll see this additional content. And I'm just going to save our story by clicking the orange save button. You can also tag the story so it appears with different tags on the story list page. I'll leave this as is for, actually, let's throw in an event one. I'm just going to make a new one. Let's just tag it event and save it. If I have time and pull up that stories list built-in page on the website, we'll see these tags. I'm going to save the story, and you'll see this publish story dialog automatically appear. It'll give you a few options on where you want to display the story. We want it to display on the homepage stories widget. And I mentioned I'd show you guys the built-in stories list page. So I'm going to have it appear on that page as well. If you guys have bulletins you're working on, you can also choose to display it in all of the bulletins by checking this top box, or just one bulletin by checking the active bulletins title. I'm going to leave those bulletin options. I won't be going into bulletins in this webinar, but we do have a bulletins webinar. So check that out if you're interested on learning more about sending the bulletin newsletters to your membership and contacts. So to save these publish options, I'm just going to click this orange confirm button. There we are. We're back in the stories for homepage stories widget page. I see our fish fry barbecue story. If I click this stories list page section, it'll show me the stories added to the built-in stories list page. I'm just going to quickly go to this, and we'll go back to the stories widget and story library, which is all of your club's website stories. So if I click stories list page, we see the same fish fry barbecue story. And then if I click story library, we should also see the story there. And there it is, fish fry barbecue history. And this story library will store all of the stories that have been created on your club website. So we've got our demonstration account pulled up. So it'll have quite a few stories, 24 total stories starting from 2014. But you guys can definitely check out your story library and see what previous stories have been created for your account. And if you guys would like to use them, say on the stories widget or stories list page, you can go to those sections in the story library. Here we are, and then you can click this blue add stories from the story library button. Let me quickly show you what that interface looks like. I'm going to click this blue add stories from the story library. A new page loads where any remaining stories that aren't on that page will appear. We can say check this deadline story, or I like this fundraiser for COVID masks, and then we can go back to the top and click this orange add selected stories button. Okay, and we should see the COVID mask story. There we are, right at the top. So for these stories widget lists, you can reorganize how the stories are listed in the widget. To do that, you'll see the sort of similar, the 6 dots that we tried in the homepage designer. Instead, in these lists in the member area, it's 3 vertical dots, and we can click and drag those dots to move the story up in the list so that it's one of the first stories that appears, or further down the list to be one of the later stories that appears. I want our fish fry barbecue to be the first story, and then I want the growing a future in Cape Town to be my second story in our homepage news widget. So I've made those changes to the homepage stories, and we quickly threw together a story to add. Let's go back to the homepage to check on the widget and publish that update to the homepage. And I'm going to do that from the member area here in the top right. We should be able to click this go back link, but I think I've gone so many into a few different areas in the stories list page that it'll probably take me to the stories list page or story library. So we'll just circumvent that by going to new website beta in the top blue bar, then homepage designer in the gray bar just below. There we are, so we're back. If I scroll down to our homepage news widget, so just after our club and meeting information, there we are, club stories and project. We've got our fish fry barbecue story history page, or story page, as well as the growing a future in Cape Town that was previously there, but I moved it up to be the first 2 stories. And that's exactly what we see here. They're the first 2 stories. When we publish it, it should give the viewers an option to scroll through the stories. Before publishing, I just want to reorganize our page. I'm noticing the left column is blank here, and I did mention at the very start of our webinar, I'd also work on the navigation menu. So we'll get to that, but first, let me fill in this left column. I think instead of adding more content and just growing the page indefinitely, I'm going to move a widget from the right column into the left column. So let's go ahead, and I think the club executives and directors probably shouldn't be at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and click and drag those same 6-dot icon, go to the right column here and scroll all the way. Ooh, I think I accidentally pressed the button. I'm going to grab it again, and let's move back up to the top of that column. And there we are. The green drop here is in the left column. I'm going to let go of the cursor, and we've successfully moved it into the left column. And now the page balance is a little better. There's not all that white space at the bottom right here. Okay, and I should also mention there are other areas you can update on the homepage apart from the widgets we have in the content. If I scroll to the very bottom, you can also update your club website's footer by hovering over that footer section and clicking this outbound arrow icon. Again, this icon takes you to the area where that content is managed. So if I click that outbound arrow icon, it takes us to the change footer page where we have our current information. I'm going to leave this as is, but just keep in mind, you can go to your live homepage designer, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then start editing your footer if you'd like to include contact information or links there. You'll see that we're in a bigger editor where I have more tools. Previously, we only had a link and image tool, but here you have access to templates and an embed media tool, which lets you embed videos and other HTML content onto the website. And I'll do that for a custom widget when we come back to the homepage. Actually, when we create a custom page, I'm going to embed a playable video in a custom widget, and we'll play it on that custom page. So I'm going to leave this edit footer page for now. Let's go ahead and click this go back link. Let's see where we're at on the homepage. So I haven't published any of these changes. Let's go ahead and view the live version of the homepage. So it looks like we're missing our right column widgets. The homepage story widgets, which were managed in the widget, were published to the widget itself, so those appear, but the club executives and directors widget hasn't been moved. And let's go ahead and publish the homepage to get it in that left column. So back in the homepage designer, I'm going to click this orange publish button in the top right. And now after a short delay, if we go back to the homepage, I'm just going to open up the previously loaded homepages. I'm going to click again, view live page. And if I scroll down, excuse me, there, our club executives and directors widget has moved into the left column there. Okay, let's get some updates done to the navigation. Oh, sorry, let's start with the home page or custom page and then link that into the navigation menu. I think that segues nicely, and we'll also do the embed media video on that custom page. Pardon me. Let's go ahead back into the homepage designer. I'm going to click this go back link to go back to the member area. So we're done for now with the homepage, but we will come back to the navigation menu. Let's click go back, and that'll bring us back to the member area. I do want to mention you can access your club's story library through this website module as well. If we click website, then website content, you'll be brought to this page where you can click homepage stories, and it'll pull up the same stories widget grouping with the stories added to your homepage stories widget. But that's enough talking about stories. Let's open up a custom page. So in the top blue bar, I'm going to click new website beta. Then in the gray bar below, we can just skip ahead to creating a new custom page by clicking the gray create new page button, or we can open up all of the existing custom pages by clicking the custom page library. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and that'll pull up all of the custom pages created for this demonstration account. I'm going to create a new page, but you can open up existing custom pages by hovering over the custom page in the library and then clicking the open button. Let's do that for this end polio now, just so you guys can see that live designer for custom pages. Let's go ahead and click this blue open button. There we are. So the custom page live designer is really similar to the homepage designer. On the right side, you have a content layout and properties tab instead of a theme tab. In the content grouping, you'll have the same sort of groupings of widgets. Instead of you will have the same homepage stories and homepage news widgets, but instead of that themes tab, which is set from the homepage, you'll have this properties tab. Let me show you the differences in this properties tab. I'm just going to click properties, and the first option we have is the story title. Currently it's set to end polio now. I'm just trying to highlight for you guys. That is appearing right here. It looks like it's trying to make me change the page title, but let's do that. Let's just cut out the end polio now. I'm just going to cut out the now and leave that it is. It hasn't updated. We need to save these updates to the properties before they appear. So I'm going to scroll down. If I click anywhere, it'll probably want to update the permalink right away. I'm going to click OK in this case. There we are, the permalink has been updated. And if I scroll down some more, one item I really want to show you guys is this access level for the custom page properties. You can make a custom page only available to your members by setting this access level to requires login. And once this is set and we've saved the update to the properties, the next time a visitor attempts to open this End Polio Now website, web page, they would be required to log in before the content on the page appears. I'll leave this set as requires login. If I have time closer to the end of the webinar, I will test it by logging out and trying to click it from the navigation menu. So we're going to go ahead and save this update. There we are. My title has also taken effect. It was End Polio Now. Pardon me, now it's just End Polio. Let's create a new page. I'm going to go back with the go back link in the top left here, and we're back in the new website beta custom page library. Previously, we were working in the homepage designer, but we're going to create a new custom page with this orange create new page button in the top right. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. We've got our default templates loaded. I like a lot of our templates, but sometimes I just want to start with something fresh and then add my own content too. To get there, we can scroll to the bottom of our templates and we have our blank template that you can select. But I'll use one of these templates. Let's go ahead and try this volunteer with us template. So I've selected it. To use it, I'm going to scroll either to the bottom right or to the top right of the page and click the orange next button. Just a note, you can save your own templates and they will appear in this My Templates tab. I'm going to go ahead and click the orange next here. Okay, and it is building up our new custom page from the template, so it's creating its website link. There we are, we've got our new custom page. I would like to replace this banner at the top of the page, and to do that, it's in a text widget. I can tell by this pencil icon. I'm going to click the pencil icon, and now I'm editing the text widget. I'm going to highlight the image once and delete it with my delete key. And then using the image editor tool for the widget, open up the image properties, then select browse server to view my club's image library. And then from here, we can select a new banner image. I like this lonely Christmas tree. Let's go ahead and just throw that in there. And once we've selected the image through this image editor tool, you'll have some additional controls like the alternative text to help people reading your website, width of the image, height of the image, as well as any border or spacing you'd like to set and an alignment. This image is quite big, as we can see. It's got a 1980 width. The website will take care of squishing it to fit in the viewer's monitor. You can poke around with the width and height. While changing them, I do suggest leaving this lock icon set, as while it is set, if we change the width, the height for the image is automatically changed for us. If I click the lock icon and now make a change to the width and height, those changes are not automatically ratioed out. So you could end up with an image that looks either squished or stretched, depending on how it was adjusted. So do keep that lock icon on unless you guys plan on really changing the sizes of the image. So I'm going to leave it on, and automatically it fixes that width to height. And now I'm going to click the green OK button to replace the image. There we are. Okay, it looks like it re-added that. I think I pressed Control Z and it added back that image, but it's now removed and we just have our Christmas tree image at the top here. Okay, so we've created our new page. Another thing you probably want to do right away is retitle it. And again, we're going to go to that Properties tab and just change it to say, yeah, I mean, I'm making a Christmas page, Christmas flyer, or I should say custom page flyer or website flyer, Christmas website flyer. So say you guys have a Christmas event that's going on annually, you could create a custom page with all of the flyer information right there on the website. So I've got our new website, our custom page title. I'm going to click out. It'll prompt me to update the permalink. I'm going to click OK. There we are. Permalink is now Christmas website flyer. And at the very bottom, I do want this to be public so any visitor can view it. And I'm going to click the orange save button. There we are, Christmas website flyer homepage. We've got our picture. What I want to do next is embed a embed a video on the page to make it playable right there. So you guys have a video of your Christmas event and you want it to play right there on the website, you can definitely do that. I'm going to have it replace this make a difference widget. So to get content onto the page, we're going to return to the content tab in the top right of the designer. And for embedding for embedding videos, we would need to use a custom widget. And that segues nicely into the custom widgets groupings here. We also have an events widget grouping that'll pull from your events, which is on the homepage in that upcoming events widget, but I'll touch on that later when we return to the homepage designer. For now, I'm going to use the custom widgets global grouping. So the global, so you'll see there are two. There's this custom widgets global and then custom widgets page specific. Global custom widgets will be available for any custom page and your home page while working in the live designer. So if you have a widget in mind that you think you may use in more than one place, create it as a global widget, and then that content will be right available from the same group when you go to add it to your homepage. If you're looking for the content to just be part of that page, you would create it as a page specific widget. But I want to demonstrate this global widget functionality. I'm going to get a video in a new custom widget, and then we're going to bring that onto the homepage too. So we're going to do it from this custom page first, but we'll get it on the homepage too. So I'm going to remove this make a difference widget. Again, I'm just going to hover over it and click this X icon, and I'm going to replace it with a brand new global custom widget just by clicking and dragging and dropping the widget into place. There we are. It's just entered in with a default custom widget title and type your content here. I'm going to retitle the widget as the first thing we do. I'm going to hover over the widget and click this gear icon. There we are, properties for custom widget. Scrolling down, I'm going to go to the header properties and replace this with Christmas video flyer, for example. And let's save that change. There we are, Christmas video flyer. You can just hide the title of the widget. And to do that, it's in that same header property section in the properties tab. Scrolling down, I'm just going to uncheck the show title and save that. And now there's no title for the widget. To get a video into the custom widget itself, the pencil icon cannot be used. You need the full editor tools. I'll show you. I'm going to click the pencil icon. It is missing the embed media tool, which we had previously seen when editing the footer. To get there, I'm going to click outside of the widget, and that'll remove my editing session. I'm not sure why the bar is still there. It should be removed. There we are. And if I hover over, I'm going to click this outbound arrow icon in the top right. And this will take you, it should take you to the edit custom widget page. It looks like that I made two changes really close to each other, and it's having me decide which one I want to keep. I'm just going to edit the draft version as there are no differences. If there were differences, they would appear in these text boxes here. So let's just edit the draft version. There we are. It only has that type your content in here box, default content in. I'm going to highlight it and delete it. And now I'm going to use the embed media tool to embed a YouTube video. And I guess I could quickly show you here. I'm just going to pull up a link from my my script or my lesson plan here. I'm going to throw it in this new browser tab at the top of my demonstration bar here. It should be, oh, it looks like it's not quite. There we are. So this is the video I want to embed. It's the Club Runner mobile app video. To embed it, I have the video pulled up here in the top right. I'm going to click this share icon. Oops, that is not quite the share I was expecting. I think if I was to use it from YouTube, it would be more direct. Oh, it's a different kind of link here. Bear with me. I'm just going to Google our mobile app video. So I'm back here, Club Runner mobile app. There we are. So I'm going to click the video once, and now it's here on YouTube. Oops, it's playing an ad for me. I don't want that. I'm going to scroll down to this share option and click the share tool. And here we'll have a few options to share it. I'm going to click the embed option, and here is the code we want to include in the widget. So I'm going to copy this iframe code and then right click and copy. You also have some options here in YouTube to choose to start the video at a different mode or show the player controls. So you can hide the player controls so that it doesn't show the play button on the website. I'm just going to use the default code. So I've copied it, and I'm going to close out this YouTube box and go back to our designer. There we are. And in our custom widget video flyer, I'm going to click the embed media tool and then paste the share embed code right here. and then click the green OK button, and we can see the video is appearing in the widget. I don't want to press this play button because we're working in an editor. It may not function as expected. So I'm just going to save and publish this, and we'll check it on the website after I publish it and link it in the navigation menu. So let's save our widget here by clicking the orange Save and Publish button in the bottom right. There we are. We're back on our Christmas website flyer custom page. If I scroll down, we've got our Christmas image, and the iframe box with the embedded video is appearing a little strangely because it's not to be played from the live designer. But once we publish it, this iframe box will be replaced with the playable video, and we'll double check on that. I don't want to make more changes to the custom page, and I'm sort of going a little over my custom page section in my lesson plan here. So we'll just carry on to the navigation menu, link this custom page in, and use the global custom widget to get the widget on the home page too. So we're done with the custom page. The last thing to do is click the orange publish button so any changes to the custom page are published. So let's click that publish button and then go back to the member area. There we are. So let's get our new custom page in the navigation menu. I'm going to click New Website Beta in the top blue bar, then Homepage Designer in the gray bar below. There we are. And while I'm here, let's get that video back on the homepage. So it looks like my custom widgets global grouping is already pulled up for me. I can scroll down, say, just in between our club information and club stories. I'm going to drag and drop the Christmas video flyer widget. Oop, it's there we are. If the green drop here is stable, I'm going to let go of my cursor. And again, we see that iframe. So we're good. We just need to publish the homepage. Let's do that. I didn't get a chance to go through these other widget groupings. So I showed you guys the essentials. We have some carousels, one of which is this carousel on the homepage. You can include some links. A really important grouping is this events widget grouping. So if you guys are creating events in Event Planner or My Event Runner, you can drag and drop the upcoming events widget onto the homepage. And as long as those events are set to show on the homepage, they will appear in this upcoming events widget. And I did that ahead of time for this fish fry and club barbecue event. And I'll show you guys where I've created this widget. But the handy thing with these automated widgets is you can just hover over them, click the outbound arrow icon, and it'll take you to the area where that widget is pulling its content from. So I did that for the events widget. It's pulled up the events module, event planner event list. And just to confirm that for you, I'm going to click events, then click event planner, and it's pulling its information from this event list. And if you guys are using My Event Runner to create more events, it also pulls from My Event Runner. Let's go back to the homepage, New Website Beta, Homepage Designer. Let's get that custom page linked in our navigation menu in a new folder. So I'm going to hover over that navigation menu section and click the outbound arrow icon. It'll take us to this Manage Homepage menu page. I'm going to create a new event flyer folder. So let's do that. So I don't see one's been created. I'm just cursory looking over our homepage. Nothing really looks exactly what we have this events and calendar. Perhaps we should throw it in here in this events and calendar folder, and that'd be a good example. So from here, I'm going to click the add menu item for the events and calendar folder. There we are. Automatically, after I click add menu item, it'll give us this link type set to folder. I will leave it as folder, so where we have a folder within a folder and then more links within that subfolder. Let's go ahead and title this event flyers. Okay, you can include a tooltip. These tooltips appear if you hover over the item, and just a little note will appear to denote what that item is. I'll just enter one here. Click here to view our flyers, and I'll demonstrate this behavior. And I'll go ahead and save this. And similarly to the homepage designer, these changes to the menu are not public until we click the orange Publish menu button. So I've created our new folder in that events and calendars folder. There we are, events and calendar, event flyers, and now I'm going to add an item in the event flyer folder. So I'm using these add menu item links in the folders. You can also use this orange add new menu item. I'm going to use this button this time. So let's go ahead and click it. There we are. And this time I'm going to choose the link type custom page. There are some built-in pages, namely that stories page I referenced to. If I choose the built-in page option, you'll see your club's built-in pages, one of which will always be the stories list page. There we are, stories, club executives. There are many here. So try them out. You can just put them on the navigation menu for a second with the publish menu. If you don't like them, I'll show you how you can delete the link after. But let's get this set to the Christmas flyer page. So I've set it to custom page. Then from the pages dropdown, I'm going to select Christmas website flyer, and I'm going to title this navigation menu item Christmas video flyer. So the same title we gave our widget, I'm going to give it to this navigation menu. So I'm going to leave it as a regular link, that you can try some different button styles. Just for an example of this primary and secondary button, I'm going to pull up the home page in a new tab. You can see our primary button is this contact us button in the orange, and then the secondary button style is this donate to our club. But each theme has its own primary and button styles. So try out the themes if you're not happy with your button styles. Maybe you'll find one that you like, or you can share your suggestion with us and we can review further. So I'm going to go back to the manage homepage menu. There we are, and we're going to finish adding our new custom page link with that add menu link type custom page, and then we selected the page. I'm going to save it. None of this is on the home page yet. So if we were to look at the home page, we'd be able to go to events and flyers. Oops, I need to move our Christmas video flyer. Because I use that orange add new menu item, it just added it to the bottom of the list. But like I mentioned earlier, you can reorganize the list with these 3 dot icons. I'm going to click those dots for the Christmas video flyer and move it into the events flyer folder. And you'll see that red outline to denote that the page is being dropped within the folder. If I was to move just down a little more, you'll see it changes to a line, which means it'll drop into the events and calendar folder. So it's not quite in the event flyer, but now if I move it again, we'll see that red outline. I'm going to let go, and there we are. It's in the event flyer, and I can shrink it down to hide the sub items in the folder. Okay, last thing to do is publish our updates to the homepage. If I pull up the homepage, it's not here, our folder isn't here, but back here, I'm going to click the orange publish menu button. There we are. It seems to be published. It's usually a good idea to give the designer a minute or two just to give it time to get those updates made to the page. But if I go back now, it's not there yet. I need to refresh my page. So I can do that either by highlighting the address and clicking enter, or clicking the refresh button on my browser. There we are. And there we are. We've got our events and calendars, and I added a tooltip to the event flyers. If I just hover over event flyers, it pulls up that tooltip. Click here to view our flyers, and we have our custom page link. So I'm going to go ahead and click the custom page Christmas video flyer, which we titled Christmas website flyer. And if I scroll down, we've got our video right here playable. It looks like I could move this widget into, say, a different layout section. We can choose one with 3 columns and move this into the middle, or you can set an alignment from the custom widget to be centered. I'm going to test playing it. Let's go ahead and click that play button. There we are. So it's playing right there on the home page. I just had to click that play button. Let me see. Let's check on the homepage, because I also added this widget to the homepage. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the top of our website here and click this home button in the navigation menu. And if we scroll down past, yep, there it is, past the club information, we've got our Christmas video flyer custom widget that I also added to the homepage, and it also is playable right there from the homepage. Okay, I just want to take a quick look at our lesson plan. The last thing is linking and creating an event. So to save time, I did prepare an event. It is set this fish fry and club barbecue in the club events. If I click the event, I haven't set up the registration, so we shouldn't see any register options, but we'll set that up in our webinar session here shortly. So this is the information I've added to the event. Let me take you to the corresponding member area place. So I'm going to click member area in the top right. We're back in the member area. I'm going to click events in the top blue bar, then event planner in the gray bar just below. There we are. So to create a new event, you would click this orange create a new event button. I've already made one. I'll show you what that create event page looks like. So I'm going to click my existing event. And we have the information that I've added to the demonstration event. When you click that orange create a new event button, the page will look a lot like this edit details link for the existing event. So you'll have the event name of an event code, which will appear on your club's integrated online payment account if you guys have an integrated online payment account. So if you log into that integrated online payment account's virtual terminal where it keeps all the receipts, you would see transactions with this BBQ May 30, 2022 code. Just below that code, you can set the event to be active right away or draft if you're still working on it. We have some event types that color coded on the club's website calendar. And finally, you have a start and end date, a description, and below, you can add more information about the event, like an image for the event, that barbecue image, the event chair's email, address information for the event, and then finally the show on options, one of which is the show event in homepage option. And if this is set to yes, the event will appear in the upcoming events widget from the events grouping while working in the live designer. I do want to show you where this show event and homepage was actually that same link I clicked on the right column of the home pages. It was in that upcoming events widget. Let me just pull up the homepage. I think this is the manage homepage. I'm going to go to home so you guys can see exactly where that show on events option displays. So I'm scrolling down. Here's our events club events widget. And if that show on homepage option is checked, the event will be posted right here in the widget with its link. If we click the title, it'll pull up the registration page. The registration options are not working, and that's because the registration isn't complete. Let's go back to the event. I'm just going to go back to that create event tab at the top, and I'm going to go back. I didn't make any changes. So if we scroll down, I've got the initial event set up, but it looks like the registration is not enabled. To enable it, I'm going to click this edit registration options. Once you set this up, this button will be on the right side here. So I'm just going to click this link. And after clicking the link, we can scroll down and we can opt to open the event for registration. I'm going to keep that as default. The registration start and end time, it'll by default start it today and then set the end date to the just before the events begins. We also have some options for a fee for the event. I'm not able to enter a fee here, but there is a payment option setting in the event that we can adjust. I do want public registration so any visitors can register. To do that, I'm going to check this checkbox, and I'm also going to allow members to register their own guests. Okay, we've got a copy event on new registration email. So the event chair, who I've set as Charles Hampton for this event, if this option's checked, he will receive registration confirmation. So if somebody registers, he would be notified. And then you can also enable comments on the registration page, just like website stories. So a member can log in and leave some comments on the registration page if you'd like. By default, this is off. And finally, we have our enable custom email message setting. This is actually a newer setting, sort of put into the system with a lot of feedback from you guys, our customers. Effectively, if you'd like to add additional information in those event confirmation emails, you would check this checkbox and then say or type in that additional information about the event registration. Say intake is at the front desk, display your event confirmation email for the meal tickets, for example. So you could include that instruction in the email confirmations that are sent out. And as long as this checkbox is checked, that text is added to the event confirmation emails. I'm going to save these updates. There we are. So we've got our registrations enabled. What we want to make sure is that the price is set. And if we look at the description, I've set the cost for a meal to be $30. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and past the volunteer section so you can collect volunteers for the event. I won't have time to go through that, but we do have more webinars about volunteers. I want this payment settings page. So I'm going to click this blue change payment settings. And if we scroll down, I can enter in the event fee, $30, then select the currency. I'm going to choose USD. It should be closer to the bottom. I suspect my Zoom share bar is hiding the option from me. Bear with me, sorry. There we are, US dollar. And we're going to select the Sage. So if you guys have integrated online payment accounts, those would appear here. We can select one. I'm going to choose the Sage test account and then opt to have members pay to complete the registration. So they're only able to finish the registration once they pay online. And we can opt to allow them to pay by check, but that doesn't really work well with my require them to pay, because then they'd just be able to say, I'll pay by check, and then not actually submit their payment. So I'm going to leave this as no. And then let's go ahead and click this orange or save button. And that's it. The events registration should be open. Let's go back to the home page, and we're just wrapping up here before we break for Q&A with Zach. So let's go ahead and check on the events registration. I'm going to click home page in the top right, and we're back on the home page. I'm going to go to the events and calendar, event flyers, Christmas video flyer. Oh, sorry, this is a custom page. Let's open up the regular calendar page. I'm going to go to events and calendar, and then this calendar page. There we are. So we've got our built-in calendar page. I quickly showed you guys those built-in link types when working on the navigation menu. This is one of those pages, that calendar built-in page. And if I scroll down to May 27th, 28th, we've got our event. I can click the event, and it appears in the calendar with the show on calendar setting that I skimmed over when we were editing the details of the event. So that's why it appears on the calendar. And we can now see that the online registration is working. Members and guests can click these buttons to either log in and register online with credit card, or without logging in as a guest and pay with credit card. Okay, and I mentioned actually earlier that we turned on a social media bar for a website story. I turned it on for this event, and that's what this is, this social media bar. If we click, say, Facebook, my own Facebook account would open with this page set to share on my Facebook profile. So I could make a post with, hey, there's this fish fry, click the link to register, and then people will be able to click that share link to register. They can also like the page, and those would appear tallied up here. Okay, so that concludes the content for our training. I hope that was really helpful with updating your club's homepage, dragging and dropping some of our automated and pre-formatted widgets, as well as with creating an event to appear in those automatic widgets, and as well as trying out some of those full editors for the custom widget. So you can drag and drop a custom widget, click that outbound arrow icon, and then pull in a video right there on the widget like we did for the homepage. Make it a global widget, and you can use it on all your pages. So that's all I have. I'll let Zach take over for questions. I'm still around monitoring the questions, so please continue to share them with us. Thank you, Zach. Oh, I don't think we can hear you. I think your microphone is muted. No. I'm not certain why it's not working. I hope you can hear me. I don't think it's an issue with my audio. Okay, well, I see that he's got the share pulled up. I'm just going to take a quick look at the questions here. Oh, I think we can hear you now, Zach. Oh no, it sounds like fuzz. I'm not sure why it's not picking up your mouth, but I can hear background noise. Okay, well, I'll go through the questions that Zach's pulled up here. So I'm going to take back the share screen. There we are. So you guys should be back on the Greentown Fish Fry and Club BBQ event. I see a few questions were marked to answer live, and I'll just go through those. So William shares, how do I break down into multiple pages, i.e. you guys have an about our club that reaches max characters and you want to continue. So I suspect you have a big widget with all of that content. So there's two options. You can open up that about our club custom page and then create a new custom widget to copy the content into, or you can create a brand new custom page. So let's start with, say, option one where you're splitting the content. I'm going to go back into the member area. Sorry, Zach, is your mic working? No, it doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem so. So I'll answer the questions here. Let's go ahead and go to new website beta, then custom page library. I'll try to pull up a page that has a lot of content here. So let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up. Let's start with this, our fundraising goals. So one option, William, would be to edit a widget and then say you like the first half of the content, but the second half doesn't need to be there. You can highlight that while editing the text or custom widget, then right click and cut it. And then the first option would be to create a new widget to just copy that content into. So you could use a custom widget global or pre-formatted widget. I'll just use a text only pre-formatted widget. I'm just going to drop it just below, and then you could go to that new text only widget and then paste that remaining content so that it's segregated. You can also use a layout to separate the content right there on the page. The other option would be to create a new page. So we can highlight that content and leave our current page that we're working on, then open up a different page and then add the content to that page. So we could say add it to this contact information. I can just go here and paste it in. Oh, it looks like I'm just going to Control V. There we are. And say you would like those items to still be linked to the same place. You can use the link editor tool to link, say, back to that page. So say we've only included a little blurb here, but you want to learn more about, say, and I think this is about Paul Harris. So say read more about the PHF awards here. So I'm going to take that sentence and link it back to that original page that you had. So I'm going to highlight that new sentence, click the link editor tool, and in this link type dialog, I'm going to choose custom page, and then you can find your original page that you had pulled the information from to link back to. So let's use that NPolio custom page I worked on briefly. And there it is. We've linked this read more about the PDF awards to that NPolio now page, but you would replace it with your correct page. Let's carry on. I see another question from Steve.
You can hear me now, Omar?
Yes,
Awesome.
your mic's
I have
working.
no idea what was going on. Zoom was just quite literally not picking up my microphone. It had it set and everything. And I mean, to pull back the curtains a little bit, Omar and I were chatting for about 15 minutes before we got started here. So it was just very awkward. So thank you for taking over that first one for me, Omar. I will pick it up from here.
Thank you, Zach.
Sorry about that, guys. So the next question we had in our list was from William. He was asking about the ability to add a photographer's name to an image or picture. And I realized with all that audio stuff, I kind of got off on the start. We had a really common question that I actually wanted to start with. A lot of people in our chat were asking, and in some of our questions were asking about how you get access to the website Live Designer and all of its different pieces and parts. So I want to just touch on that real quick. So if you are a club member and you use your club's website and you cannot access either the website tab or the new website tab, you might just have a standard level of member access. For example, when you log into the when you log into your club's website and you come, this is the page you see. So if this is the page you see when you come into your club's website, you are a standard member. You don't have any extra access. But as you get more access, in very specifically the user that we're logged in with here is a level 30 site administrator. They have full access to everything on the platform. There is nothing that they can't do. Starting at level 60, though, is one of our lower access levels. That will give you access to the editor dashboard and the editor tools in Club Runner. Basically, as an editor, you're someone who can manage website content, bulletins, and some other things like that. And it allows you to help with updates to the website. But as an editor, you can't touch any of the major settings for the account. So you can't touch the menu or the footer or the banner for the website or its theme or the homepage, but you can navigate around the website. You can create new events and calendar items. You can create new stories and pages. You can create new photo albums and download files. All of those things let you add content to the website, but they don't let you control the website fully. At level 30, which is our highest level, you would have full control over the account, and there's nothing you can't do. So as an aside to several of those questions, how can I tell if I have that access? If for any reason your club doesn't seem to have an active administrator, reach out to our team and let us know. We can always give the current year president level 30 access. They're the person in charge of the account. And if the president doesn't want that level 30 of access, but they need others to have it, they can authorize us to do so. So in a worst case scenario where you don't seem to have an active administrator, have your president reach out to us or have them contact us, and we'll work with them to get you guys all the access that you would need to manage your club and your account. So with that said, one of the other really good questions that we had and that I was getting started with was William asked, can I add the photographer's name to an image or a picture? So depending on where you are on the website, in most cases, the answer to that question should be a yes. So I'm going to head into the homepage designer here. I'm just going to scroll down and use the nice big homepage designer link here. So if you did have a picture and you specifically wanted to have it with a caption, for example, you're working in your bulletin or your homepage and you want a picture with a caption, we have a really great widget for that called Image with Caption. So if you drag and then drop that onto the page, once it's loaded onto the page, we can pick our image, going so far as to either pick an image out of our Club Runner library or uploading our own one. I'm just going to pick one of our old logos here, and then I would be able to put my caption here. And just, type it away. This picture was taken by Omar. And so now we have the picture and the widget on our page, and it's on our homepage. So if we wanted to make sure everybody can see that change, we can hit publish, and that will make sure that all of the changes that we've made so far go out live to the website. If you are working inside of a story, for example, I'm gonna head into our stories here. So if I was in the fish fry BBQ, we have our story here, and there are a couple different ways to add images. We first have templates. So if you want something that's very particular, like an article with a picture in the center, or any one of these options, they will basically give you a preset area. So I'm just going to choose image with article left, and you can see it gives you a nice little preset format. But for any reason, if you don't like this or you don't need it, you can just get rid of all of it. Let's go ahead and delete everything. And when you're inserting your images, either through the longer way here by browsing to the server, we'll select our previous theme image again. I guess that actually might be see which year is this? Okay. So let's set this down just a little bit lower so we can actually see it on the page. So if we had an image here, we can definitely put text to the left, to the right, to underneath. This image was taken by John. If you'd like to have it locked in just a little bit more without having to have just it sitting out by itself, the last thing we can just do real quick here, I'm going to delete some stuff. I'm going to use our editor to insert a table. And it's going to give me a pop-up here. I want a 2 rows, 1 column. That's going to give us a vertical table. So I'm going to cut our image and paste it. I put my cursor on that, hit Control X and then Control V. And once again, we could put a caption in the box here. So that is a couple different ways to add photographer photos and captions. And of course, I'll definitely take that feedback over to our team to consider for future updates. All right. Steve B asked, how do you add those internal emails as a link in a widget? There doesn't seem to be an option. So that is a really great question, and that is a pretty great observation as well. You are correct. When you're out on the club's website, there are really nice sorry about that, guys. I thought I had all of those shut off. Bear with me just 1 minute. All right, so we're right back here on the website. So if you ever have a case where you need to have a link to one of your members' private email pages, one of the easiest things to do as a workaround, since we do not currently expose all those links, is to set them as an event share in an event, or if they're already an officer of the club, grab the link from the club officers page. So I'm going to manually navigate to the club executives page, assuming I spell it right. And we can see Mickey Dewey and some other of the members' emails here. And we can see these because we are logged in. And that's the only reason we can see these details. But if we wanted to get that special link, we can either right click and copy this link address, or we can click on the full length and get to this special page. You can see here this single email send. There's a very fancy encrypted member ID. We can send an email directly to Judith Draper. So if Judith was the individual we want, we can copy the URL from the address. We can head back into our website designer. Oh, sorry, I'm in the story designer here. But if I wanted to, for example, make this image a link, I can highlight it. I can click the link button and I can insert that URL by pasting it from the website that I captured. And so now if anyone clicks on this story image, it will take them directly to that email page. So that is the cheaty little workaround to get in and get those links. The other area that you can do is the event chair, because obviously you don't always want to set your club members as club officers, but in a pinch, if you absolutely need that for a non-member, you can come into your events. You can pick your event chair from anyone in the club. And once it's set and saved, the event chair on the website will update. So let's go to the calendar. And so for that fish fry, you'll see that Catherine Moore is here, and clicking on her name takes us to that same special email page. So Steve, I hope that helps. So William S. asked, I have to retype a PDF entire auto-generated URL for work on a web page. Am I doing something wrong? I think, at least from the concept of what was going on in Club Runner, you might be, William. So let's talk about that. We're going to head into the website content section. And under the website content section, we can add homepage download files. Now, before we go too much further with talking about the homepage download files, I just want to note, for any reason, if there is any requirement for security on your files, please do not put them in the homepage download files. Download files are always public and always public. Like, I want to repeat that twice. So no matter what you do for a download file, anyone who has the URL, regardless if they're a member of your club or not, will always be able to get access to that file. So just on the opposite end of the spectrum, if we needed a secure document, we would use the documents instead of the homepage download files. The document section allows you to have files that are only available to your club members, even if the link to that file is shared publicly. And it also allows you to lock that file in the future. So if you ever think a file, again, may ever need any level of privacy, use the club documents, don't use homepage download files. But to return to William's question, having to retype the entire URL. So we can see that this test file is here. It looks like it's just a big picture, but the long and short of it is, it doesn't matter what file we want to link, we shouldn't have to fully retype the URL ourselves. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to head to the classic website designer, just so I can very quickly get into the menu section. And we're going to talk about menu links again. So everywhere in Club Runner, there is a link. Everywhere that you would link something to, like either link another content from Club Runner, or you're using one of our editors, there's always a way to link to content that is already available in the platform. So I am going to click add new menu item here so we can look over our link types and pick the correct one. So folder is a special link type just for the menu system. We're not going to talk about it too much here, but you can see we have all of these other link types. Built-in pages, so for common things like the club's homepage, your list of bulletins, your club executive page, the contact us. These are all of the big pages, the landing pages or the home pages for those things, right? So all of your bulletins, who your club executive is, your contact us page for the website, your download files. I don't want to link someone to all of the download files. I want to link someone to our specific download files. So instead of choosing built-in pages, I would either choose documents if I had put it in the private document section. And from here, we can see all of our images, or not just images, any of our documents that are actually in the document system. So if this was the item that I was trying to share, I could select it. Or for the homepage download files, we also have our big list of homepage download files. Once you find the file, you hit OK, you fill everything out, you hit save, that file is linked. So similarly, if we go into an editor, I'm going to navigate into our email system, just because that is one of the quickest way to get into our editors is the email system. So let's just say, for sake of argument, I want to link dear nickname and last name to the PDF we were talking about. I would highlight the text. I will click the link button. From the link type, I will choose our download files. And from this dropdown, I will select the correct download file and hit OK. So this text is now a direct link to that file. So if I hit the source button, we can peer behind the scenes and look at the raw HTML. It's a little advanced, but now you can see that that text, your nickname and last name, points to our special homepage download file that we have added and that we have linked to. So William, I hope that helps a lot. Marshall asks, how do you add photos to your image library? So I've been doing this kind of off and on while I've been working through different parts, and I will do my best to try and also send you a link. I think Omar may have also sent you a nice KB article. But once, really, wherever you are in Club Runner, if this image button is available that I have selected on my screen now, that will let you get into the image library. And from there, you can either, so we'll click image, it'll also give us the image properties box. I'm gonna hit browse server, and that gets us into the Club Runner media library or image library. And as you can see, all of the photos that we've been working with so far are here. So we have our My Images folder. We can view all of the images that we want. And because this is an editor, just like all of our other editors, if I double click, that will, our image library in our editor. If I double click, that selects the image. And when I hit OK again, it inserts the image to wherever my character was. Additionally, when you are in the image library, if you have a photo you wanted to upload from your own computer, clicking on the upload button will pop up a prompt and ask you to pick those files off your computer. I don't have any of those prepared today, and I can't dig around my computer can't show off anything that would be private or sensitive for the company. But that basically get into the image library in a story or an editor and start adding the images you need. Or while you are working in the website content in Club Runner, there is the image library, and it should be under the library section here. So if you want to go and look and see what's in your image library without having to navigate to an editor page, you can use the website content libraries and then get into the image library, and you will be able to see all of the photos that you and your club members have uploaded. I've got one more great question here from William, which was, how can I check to see how many characters remain on a single page before I hit the maximum number of characters? And I think I had commented in one of William's other questions that he was asking about how much content can a single page have? And realistically, there isn't a hard limit on how many things you can keep adding to the page. Actually, let me head to the live designer instead. There really isn't a direct limit, but realistically, at a certain point, you're going to put enough content on the page where it is exhausting for the members of, or your visitors rather, to get through that content. So typically speaking, if the easiest way to see it is when you are working with any of your custom widgets. I'm going to drag and drop one on here. It's going to throw us right into the editor, or actually it'll leave us here. You won't have a content limit when you're working in the live designer, because for most practical purposes, it's almost never going to become a problem. But if you head into the full editor by hovering over the box and clicking that edit version, that outbound arrow, you can go into the full widget. And you can see here that there is 100,000 characters limited in this widget. And yeah, so to be really clear, it's pretty hard to overfill a widget with content. But what you want to avoid is having a page that a user would have to scroll on and on and on and on for. I'm going to be honest with you, the current homepage right now is probably about the maximum size I would want, because it takes me more than 4 scrolls to get down. So I'm using my mouse wheel. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You're starting to get to the point where most people, they're going to see this nice carousel we have. They're going to see this nice preview image. They're going to get some of this information, but there's a really low chance that they're going to keep scrolling down the page. So there isn't a maximum amount of characters per page. It's just about being careful to not overload the page. And Omar talked about it a little bit. If you feel your page is already overloaded, there's nothing stopping you from going and creating a new page and moving and migrating some of the content over to it. You can have as many pages as you want on the platform for the most part. I mean, so William added a really nice comment about you're doing a 70-year club history. I've actually seen lots of clubs do that option. I don't unfortunately have any examples here, but you might want to break that up by decade. Have club history year to year. Just as an example, you know, every 10 years from the club start, have a page about that and have all that linked in there. I will tell you, everybody, though, if anyone is still hanging out here all the way at the end, the most important thing you guys can do for your website is adding content to it and keeping it updated. That's by far the best thing that you can do to help your club out. So I hope everything that we did here today was really awesome for you guys and really helps get you further along. We were going to be having more training sessions available in the future. And I hope you guys are able to continue attending those with us. So that is the end of our webinar today. Thank you guys all so very, very much for attending with us. We will have an advanced website training a little bit later today. So for any of you, if this was not your cup of tea or you're ready for more, check out the one that's a little bit later today. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please send us emails, support@clubrunner.ca. You can also go to clubrunnersupport.com to fill out our contact ticket. We encourage everybody to check out the Club Runner community, get together with like-minded Rotarians like yourselves and other users of our platform, share feedback, suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, get some feedback from people who aren't just the support team, but the support team is there as well. And lastly, check out clubrunner.com/mobile. If you guys don't have the Club Runner mobile app, it is a great resource for keeping in touch with the members of your club. For all of our future sessions and upcoming sessions, please check out clubrunner.com/training. And once again, thank you everyone for your attendance today, and we appreciated you.